Yes, happy Wednesday to the Ungovernables, the Captain's Crew, the LFA family, McGroin Nation, coming to you live from the deep red state of Tennessee on rumble.com/LFA TV. Welcome to Ungoverned. We got a lot to talk about today. Oh, yeah. It's going to be a reckoning, a wake-up call, a big look in the mirror day. I like look in the mirror days, though. It's I think it's healthy to kind of figure out what went wrong, where it went wrong, and how to get better. This is what happens right now. Off the bat, last night, not a great night, right? Not a great night. Matter of fact, nothing went well last night in any of those elections. There's no other way to look at it other than nothing went right yesterday or last night in any of the elections. Like, Republicans did not win a single race. The guy who fantasized about his political opponents being murdered, his children being murdered, won the attorney general's race in Virginia. New Jersey wasn't even close to being competitive. I mean, the New York Jets are more competitive than Jack Ciattarelli. Abigail Spanberger and Winsome Sears, that race was called 5-10 minutes after the polls closed. Prop 50 passed overwhelmingly. Wasn't good. That's got to stop.
I don't know. I think
That's got to stop. There's a cat going absolutely crazy outside the door because we can't get an hour of them not, going absolutely berserk out there. But it's extremely annoying. Yeah, it's just she loves this pickle.
By the way, Roadrunner,
Yes.
was sent over by Misfit. So welcome.
Okay, welcome. Roadrunner. Yes, Roadrunner is always in Misfits chat.
Yeah.
All the time. Now,
that's cool.
Yesterday was also not a 5-alarm fire. Okay? Yesterday was also not a 5-alarm fire. I posted something yesterday after this happened that blue states did blue state things yesterday. Because that's what happened, right? So it's Jersey's a swing state. Well, in the 2024 election, it behaved like one. But traditionally, over the last 10 to 15 years plus, Jersey hasn't been necessarily a swing state, right? It's been a blue state. When we fill out electoral maps and projections and whatnot for president, where do we usually go with New Jersey? We go blue, right? Same with Virginia. Blue states last night, California. Is California a red state? No. Blue states last night did blue state things. Now, Republicans thought that they could run competitively in those states, and they very well can. But it's going to take two things going forward. Okay? Two things going forward. Very important. Very important. Two things going forward. It's going to take, how many times? I've been saying it since 2022. I've been saying it, don't worry. They're going to come out. They're going to vote. No, they're not. Republicans don't vote without Donald Trump on the ballot. Why? Well, there's a part of the MAGA base, I believe, that doesn't want to vote for somebody whose name isn't Donald Trump because they're not inspired. I have to, and I said this, nobody can accuse me of being a Monday morning quarterback on this. Nobody. I want you to go back to June. I want you to go back to March. I said in New Jersey, and again, I'm not saying people should have sat home and you were right not to vote. That's not what I'm saying at all. I said in New Jersey, Jack Ciattarelli was a stale, establishment, uninspiring candidate. Was Sean Farish right or was Sean Farish wrong? If you can give me an example of somebody who was inspired and enthusiastic about voting for Jack Ciattarelli, the man, not the candidate, not the idea of flipping New Jersey, the person, was he or was he not an inspiring candidate? The answer, emphatically, we have the results, you can't argue this, was that he was not. I'm not saying he's a bad person. I'm not saying he's a bad Republican. I'm not saying people should have stayed home. I'm saying that guy is old, perennially loses, and was stale. I said, oh, well, his name recognition. People recognized him as the guy who lost to Phil Murphy. I explained this before the primary. That's what happened there. That's part of it. Number two, right? So you have old, stale, uninspiring. Who the hell? Look, I'm not taking anything away. I'm not taking anything away from Winsome Sears' story. I'm not saying she doesn't have an inspiring story, that stories like hers aren't the epitome and the symbol of the American dream. I'm not saying that. She's a Jamaican immigrant. She served in the United States Marines to defend our country. She ran successfully and was elected as the lieutenant governor of Virginia in 2021, and she just gave it her all to win in 2025. Who was it? Have you seen Winsome Sears speak? What was her platform? Take the criticism of Donald Trump out of the mix. I know she wasn't very supportive of his 2024 run. Again, was Winsome Sears an inspiring candidate? Was she and I'm not talking about a politics standpoint. Take the politics, take the policies out of it right now. Look at a guy like Zoran Mamdani. I hate his politics. I don't like it. Is he or is he not a young, charismatic, energetic person? The answer to that question, I don't care that he's a snake oil salesman. I don't care that he's a Muslim. I don't care about his politics. That's not what I'm talking about right now. I am asking, is Zoran Mamdani a young, energetic, charismatic politician? The answer is yes. His politics suck. His ideas are dangerous. His theology is not compatible with the West. None of that is relevant. Is he a young, energetic, charismatic politician? The answer is yes. Where is that on the Republican side? Where? You're going to tell me Winsome Sears? You're going to tell me Jack Ciattarelli are inspiring, charismatic politicians? No, they are establishment, stale, uninspiring candidates. Number two, though, aside from the fact that Republicans have a candidate problem, who, you see, here's the difference between how a guy like Ciattarelli, a guy like, or a woman like Winsome Sears, here's the difference about the races they ran. They ran races not to lose. Democrats ran races to win. To quote the great Herman Edwards, I say great with a grain of, air quotes, you play to win the game. You don't play to not lose the game. You play to win the game. Win the game. You get out there and you are a shark in the ocean. You smell blood in the water and you go for it. You don't play nice with these people. Winsome Sears tried to play nice. Jack Ciattarelli tried to play nice. Mikey Sherrill didn't play nice. She ran ads all over TV about Jack that were not true. He did not want to raise your taxes. Their campaign last night admitted it. That was hard for them to overcome. Why were you not aggressive? Are you an Italian from New Jersey or are you a pansy from some place out in the Midwest? And I'm not insulting anybody out in the Midwest. I'm saying, you're supposed to be this tough guy. You let this woman smack you around for months. Winsome Sears. Come on. Was Winsome Sears really the best that Virginia had to offer? I'm not taking anything away from her. I thank her for her service. She's got a very inspiring story. And if she was a Democrat, that's all they would have talked about. Identity politics, black, woman, immigrant, Marine. I get it. So we have a candidate problem, a candidate selection problem. How do we select better candidates? How about Republican voters and MAGA voters wake the up in the primaries? How many times have I said this? I'm tired of being right about this, guys. I'm tired of being right about this. I'm tired of it. Why do I ask people every morning on this show to share the show? I don't do it because I want views. I mean, yes, that would be nice, okay? I always say, do it because you're not getting this anywhere else. You could look across the internet. You're not getting what this network gives you anywhere else. Anywhere. You don't get the passion. You don't get the raw, blunt force truth. You don't get the interaction. You don't get it anywhere else. Period. Period. But the reason why I ask and I beg and I plead and I say just send it to your friends is because what we're saying here over the course of the last 3 years has been damn near spot on with everything that we have said and predicted. Because if we put into practice the things that we talk about, it gives us a better chance to win. All I care about is winning. Dan Bongino said it best on his podcast. Don't fall in love with personalities. Don't fall in love with politicians. Fall in love with outcomes. Last year, a year ago today, was the 2024 election. A year ago today was the 2024 election. I remember the following show, November 6th. Trump had won. What did I say? Fall in love with that feeling. Fall in love with the feeling of winning. Fall in love with the feeling of success. Get addicted to it. And what happened? What happened? We went right back for the first, For the first 4 months into April, we were pounding our show. We won. What'd I tell you? We're in the next season. It doesn't matter what happened in the Super Bowl. Now, if you seem like I'm panicking, I'm scared, I'm upset because look, blue states voted like blue states yesterday. Blue states voted like blue states yesterday. The only state that you could say you lost ground in was Virginia, and that's because Glenn Youngkin won in 2021, and then Virginia just they gave the seat back to Democrats. It was going to be very tough to win in Virginia with the government shutdown, with the put it this way, and I'm not saying right or wrong, I'm saying the dynamic. Just look at the dynamic. If you're a government worker, are you voting for the party that's promising to cut your job? I'm not saying we bend over backwards and say, yeah, big government worker, we need your vote. Let's bloat government bigger than it already is. I'm not saying that. It was just going to be very tough to win in Virginia. Could we have been competitive? Competitive. Not losing by 13 freaking points. How about Jersey? Jersey was a 5-point margin in 2024. 5 points. What happened in Jersey last night? Why were we not competitive? All I heard was the gaslighting from people on the ground. It's a close race. And I bought into it. I predicted Cheryl by 2. It was a 13-point race. Where was the energy? Okay? So number one, we have a candidate problem and a candidate selection problem. But more than that, most importantly, we have an apathy problem. We have an apathy problem. I have been saying this for years. Republicans get lazy. We got lazy after July 13th. Everyone cared about the Trump assassination attempt for 14 days, and then it was like, oh, he was shot? I have no idea. We got lazy and complacent after 2024. We won. See you in 4 years. You guys and gals who are in this chat, you're the hardcore. You're not lazy. You're here every single day. But the remainder of the party that wakes up once every 4 years, we got to start pouring some cold water on those people. We got to do it aggressively and say, get up and get involved. I'm not telling you that Republican candidates are the best candidates in the world, but they are sure as hell better than people like Mikey Sherrill, Abigail Spanberger, Zoran Mamdani. And look, there wasn't going to be much that was going to save New York City, as you know, what I was talking about from June with this primary. And the final thing I'm going to say, and I've seen some of this, And I acknowledge that voter fraud is a problem. It's a problem. We lost those races last night by 13, 14, 15 points. Yes, they cheated. Do you know what the margin is usually of fake votes? Usually it's like between 1% and 2%, which is a lot. Think of that. That's a lot. It wasn't a 15% rig. So for anybody who's out there like, oh, I think they cheated. They did not cheat to the tune of 15 points. They cheated, but they did not cheat to the tune of 15 points. You are delusional if you believe they cheated to the tune of, do you know how many votes that would be? I mean, you're basically saying their entire margin was fraudulent. 15. If you lost by 1.5 points and you want to say there was cheating and there was, I'm with you. 15 points is a blowout. It doesn't matter if there was a bad call. Think of it as a sport, right? It doesn't matter if there's a bad call. It doesn't matter if someone's stealing signs. 15 points is a blowout. Cheating happens. Yes, it happens. It does not happen to the tune of 15 points. If it did, how did Trump win last year? So we are going to get into the ins and outs of these races, what we can learn from these races, and how we can get better in the wake of these races. Because by no means does what happened last night dictate what happens next year. By no means. Think of it. The Republican Party ran very strong in 2021. Youngkin won in Virginia. Jack came within 3 points in New Jersey. The Republican Party ran very strong in local elections across the country. The Republican Party ran very strong in 2021. And then the midterms was kind of a fizzle out, right? Didn't really happen too well for Republicans. Will the same thing happen next year for Democrats? I don't know. It can. If Republican voters collectively pull their heads out of their rear ends and realize there are elections every single year. Pay attention, get engaged, and get addicted to winning. We'll go through these races in just a second. Before we do that, I want to get to a word from our friends over at OFP Farms. It is OFPfarms.com, and I want you... What's the matter?
Sean is an idiot to blame Republicans in a blue state for the loss.
Who said that?
North Up Z Charles. He's the same one that said you said to not fight, and fold yesterday.
Got it. Yesterday. Got it. Cool. Sean is an idiot to blame Republicans in a blue state for the loss. All right. Well, I was planning on doing this anyway, just in case anybody wanted to vent. But you can call in. We can have a conversation. I will give you 2 minutes on my phone. I'll set a timer uninterrupted to explain why I'm an idiot at 631-527-4545. Okay? You want to do that after this, after our message from OFP Farms. North Up Z Charles is welcome to call in. I'll give you 2 minutes uninterrupted to tell me over the phone, essentially to my face, why I'm an idiot to blame Republicans in blue states. Because going into yesterday, I was told we were going to be competitive. And then we lost by 15 points. So, I'm not even saying we should have won. Could we have been freaking competitive? 631-527-4545. I will give you 2 minutes uninterrupted for that one caller. 2 minutes uninterrupted. But before we get to that, I want to get to a word from our friends at OFP Farms, and then we'll give that member of the chat a chance to express himself if he'd like to, or she. I'm not sure who that is, male or female. So I will give you that. But first, a word from our friends over at OFP Farms. OFPfarms.com, OFPfarms.com, OFP, Oscar Foxtrot, PapaFarms.com. Ladies and gentlemen, I got some news from the farm. They're running a nice 15% discount off of your entire purchase right now at OFPfarms.com, OFPfarms.com, OFPfarms.com. Explore the wonderful quality of Faith Farm and Freedom products with a special limited time 15% discount on your entire purchase. Take a peek at the lineup from OFP Farms, America's go-to soap company, famous for natural ingredients, the skin-loving perks of tallow and goat milk, and a big heart for farm-to-family skincare. Now, whether you're looking for gentle skincare or thoughtful gifts, these products bring together expert care and good values to make your daily routine that much better. Do not miss this chance to enjoy premium products like the Goat Kisses Lip Balm, like their amazing We the People Revolution soap. These premium products that support your health, they support your ethical choices for your entire family. This is OFP Farms, the small family farm with big, beautiful love. Use the code Shawn, 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 SHAWN. OFPfarms.com, promo code Shawn. OFPfarms.com, promo code SHAWN for 15% off of your entire purchase. That is OFP. Oscar, Foxtrot, PapaFarms.com, OFPfarms.com, promo code Sierra Hotel Alpha Whiskey, November. By the way, no call yet. So I would love to, I'm dead serious. I want to have this conversation. Why am I an idiot? Not my term, your term. Why am I an idiot for saying if more Republicans would have voted, we could have won? I'm sorry. Isn't that how math works? The Democrats had 100 votes. Republicans had 50 votes. But there are 500 Republicans, meaning 450 Republicans didn't vote. You know that if 51 Republicans would have voted, Republicans would have won? Whoa! Dane's ex wants to know why do they never call in? because here's how it works. You could be a tough guy on the internet, and then when you want, or when the invitation is extended to come on and let's have this conversation, I'm not going to yell and scream. I want to know why I'm an idiot. Maybe I am an idiot. And we get crickets. Will Cow deals with this all the time. He says, I will give you 3 minutes on the clock uninterrupted if you can call in. And nobody ever calls.
Yeah, they're not actually brave. They just like to pretend like they're cool online.
Yeah. So that's part of the problem. Hey, the phone line is open if you'd like to be a part of it. Give me a call. 631-527-4545. Let's get into this. Let's start in New York, okay? Let's start in New York City.
Oh, wait. Honk Mo first. They're all going to have a problem.
What? We had 800 already?
Yeah, we made 800 10 minutes ago.
Wow. Very good. Thank you, guys. Mo was a little depressed over yesterday. But again, I'm not saying that yesterday we should have won these races. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying we should have won the races. Could we have been more competitive than 15 points? I mean, didn't we prove that in 2024? Didn't we prove that in 2024? That like Virginia could be closer than a 15-point race? Yeah, I think we proved that. Let's take a look at New York City first. We'll look at New York City first. Mamdani, obviously the race that sucked a lot of national attention this entire cycle was Zohran Mamdani. And that, by the way, hurt Jack Ciattarelli too. Okay? But what was the one thing that we heard going into the New York race that was going to be a problem with regards to Mamdani? Okay? Curtis Lee was going to give the race to Mamdani. Andrew Cuomo was going to give the race to Mamdani. Now, mathematically, this was either going to be true or false, right? Mathematically, this was either going to be true or false, right? And last night, because we do believe in math here, why is that not working? Okay. I think I know why, because I had to do something with OBS. Last night, that proved to be mathematically false. Take a look. Here's the results from New York City. Zohran Mamdani won with over 50% of the vote, which means if you add this number, the 146,137, to Andrew Cuomo's number, 854,995, you wind up with 48.8 to Zohran Mamdani's 50.6. So that still makes Mamdani the winner. Had Sliwa or Cuomo or any of these people dropped out, okay? So Mamdani took home a majority, and that defanged, debunked, and essentially sidelined the entire talking point that Sliwa was going to give the race to Mamdani or Cuomo was going to give the race to Mamdani. Again, this is a candidate issue. Was there in New York City a viable candidate? Was there in New York City a viable candidate? A viable candidate. Not just somebody running as a Republican. Viable meaning a candidate that could actually win the race? Was there somebody who could beat Zohran Mamdani in the New York City mayoral election? The answer was always no. I explained that for months leading up to the New York City race, for months, and took a lot of crap for it. Oh, Sliwa. Oh, you don't know. People are going to vote. They're not going to vote against a Democrat in New York City. A pair of sweaty gym socks, if it was on the ballot as a Republican, would win the race in New York City. I'm sorry, as a Democrat. A pair of sweaty gym socks, if it was listed on the ballot, gym socks, sweaty, Democrat wins that election in New York City. That's just the way the city votes, ladies and gentlemen. That's just the way the city votes. Sean, why do you say Andrew Cuomo wasn't viable? Because he lost to Mamdani once already in his own primary. If he could beat Mamdani, why didn't he beat Mamdani? Oh, but Sean Curtis Sliwa, I mean, he's spent his whole life in New York City. Yes, I'm not taking anything away from what he did for the city. I told you if I lived in the city, I would have voted for him. The fact of the matter is, there was nobody in that race in New York City that was viable. And the other fact is, nobody gave this race to Zohran Mamdani except New York City. Except New York City. The majority of the vote went to the Democrat, the way it normally goes. So that's that. Now, Tree Vess Jr. brings up an amazing point. An amazing point. There are no Americans left in New York City. And there are Americans left in New York City, right? But his point is valid. Foreign-born voters voted overwhelmingly for Zohran Mamdani in New York City. Native-born voters voted overwhelmingly for Andrew Cuomo in New York City. This is a clear example of import the third world, become the third world. This is a clear example of what the great Andrew Wilkow says every day. You cannot bring over there here without here becoming over there. It's very simple. I am not saying we have to allow no immigrants. I'm saying it needs to be a little tougher to come into our country. And if you're going to come into our country, you, the immigrant, need to assimilate to us. I wouldn't move to Poland, for example, and say everybody in Poland needs to speak exclusively English or speak English so that I can feel welcome. I'm in your home. I'm in your country. But you've got people coming in from the third world saying, well, you need to allow Sharia law. You need to speak my language. No, you coming into my country got to speak my language and follow my rules. That's the New York City race. There was nothing that could have been done to prevent that. Now, had Mamdani won with 44% of the vote, we could have had that conversation. We could have. But we're not having that conversation because even if you add all of the other votes outside of Mamdani together, it's impossible to get more than 50 twice. There's 100% of votes, right? 100% vote pool. If somebody has more than 50%, nobody else could have won, period. End of story. All right. Let's move into Virginia. I want to get to Virginia now. Let's take a look at this race, okay? And this is, again, these are very interesting numbers. And again, I want to show you why I'm talking about and why I'm saying Winsome Sears was not an inspiring candidate. Because, folks, she wasn't. She wasn't inspiring. I'm not saying she doesn't have a good story. I'm not saying any of that. She was not an inspiring candidate. Abigail Spanberger defeated Winsome Sears by 15 points. 15. Now, Had Abigail Spanberger beaten Winsome Sears by 4 points, I'm singing a much different tune. I'm still saying, hey, I wish more Republicans would have came out because we still would have lost. But at least it was competitive. At least it was a blowout. At least it runs kind of in the same neighborhood as what 2024 ran in Virginia. 15 points. What was the results? What was Virginia's presidential? Let me see. Let's go to Virginia in the presidential. By the way, the guy who called me an idiot, he's not calling, so that's just how that's going to go. All right, let me go to Virginia 2024 results. Let's see. What was the final margin in Virginia? We'll jump to Politico. Kamala Harris won 51.8 to 46.6. So it's about 5 points in Virginia. 5. Abigail Spanberger won by 3 times the margin. This is not me saying Republicans should have won in blue states. This is why couldn't we keep pace? Why couldn't we keep pace or stay in the neighborhood of the pace of the margin that we had in 2024? It was only a year ago. There's no way that many Republicans forgot how to vote. Donald Trump got 2 million votes in Virginia in 2024. Abigail Spanberger got 1.9 million votes last night. So if the people who voted for Donald Trump simply came out again and voted for Sears, Winsome Sears wins the race. Hello? Same can be said about the Attorney General's race. But this is the part that gets me to believe and confirms my idea, my theory, that Winsome Sears was not an inspiring candidate. Abigail Spanberger, 15-point race. Well, what about the Attorney General's race? You know what's bizarre about these races? 1.4 million voted for Winsome Sears. 1.5 million voted for Miaris. Why are more people voting for an Attorney General than a governor? Well, this suggests maybe there was some crossover, right? 3.3 million votes in the Attorney General's race, 3.4 million votes in the governor's race. So there were more votes cast in the governor's race than there were cast in the Attorney General's race. But more people voted for the Attorney General than they did for the governor? You mean to tell me that makes sense? I'm not saying voter fraud here. I'm saying Jason Miaris was more of a motivating candidate and an inspiring candidate, and it's probably because he was going up against Jay Jones and was the incumbent. But nobody was, I don't know anybody in Virginia that was excited yesterday to go vote because of Winsome Earl Sears. I don't know anybody in Virginia who was like, I can't wait to elect this woman. She is so inspiring. She's so charismatic. She's so this, she's so that. I know people who were excited over the prospect of flipping Virginia red or maintaining the governor's seat and proving that, Virginia is turning into a swing state. Same thing in New Jersey. I know people who were excited about the prospect of flipping New Jersey. But I don't know anybody who was excited about the prospect of voting for Jack Ciattarelli. I don't know anybody who is genuinely, not lying to you, excited about voting for Jack Ciattarelli. I don't know anybody. That's a problem, folks. That's a problem. How do we fix that problem? Well, you got to participate in these elections. And by elections, I mean primary. All right, quick break. And then we're going to break down Jersey. And then the path forward, okay? Because there's a lot of chatter about what caused it, what didn't cause it. Remember, this is not abnormal. It's not outside of historical trends. But just because it's normal doesn't mean it has to remain normal. Just because you get wet in the rain doesn't mean protest, well, I'm going to get wet anyway, so I'm not going to bring an umbrella and try and stay dry. No, we got to try and be better. We got to try and be better. All right. Let me get to a word from our friends over at Old Glory Bank. It's oldglorybank.com, oldglorybank.com, oldglorybank.com. Ladies and gentlemen, it is your favorite president. You know who that is. Your favorite president. People vote for me. They don't vote for anybody else. Maybe all of our candidates should change their name to Donald J. Trump, and it'll get people out. This is your favorite president, Donald J. Trump, and I'm here to tell you about Old Glory Bank, the premier bank for faith and freedom. You've heard me talk about how the big crooked banks debanked me and our beautiful First Lady following the rigged election in 2020. Thankfully, there's a bank that loves me as much as I love me. You know that it's called Old Glory Bank, and there's not a lot of people and not a lot of things that love me as much as I love me. They don't debank Americans who love their country and honor the Constitution. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. You've heard me talk about Old Glory Bank. Old Glory Bank is America's best online bank that serves customers and small businesses in all 50 states. I'm a customer. My wife is a customer. They've got everything you need to bank online, including free accounts, free overdraft protection, early direct deposit, home loans, VA loans, and business loans. That is why Old Glory Bank quickly grew from $10 million to over $225 million in deposits. Your money is your business. Open an account today in minutes at oldglorybank.com and join the right side of banking. That is Old Glory Bank, Old Glory Bank, oldglorybank.com. Not asking you to buy anything. The accounts are free. Just set up an account with Old Glory Bank. Start getting accustomed to it. Start getting acquainted to it. You'll love it once you start using them. oldglorybank.com, oldglorybank.com. I know we have 900 now, yeah?
Yes, it's time.
Bringing all of our animals out. There. Oh.
Oh.
Whoa.
Mo.
There it is.
Maga Mo.
Magamo. There you go.
Magnificent Mo.
Magnificent Mo. Magamo would participate in the primaries. All right. Here's a word from our friends over at goldencrestmetals.com/LFA. It's goldencrestmetals.com/LFA.
Hey everybody, Jeremy Harrell here. Look, I want to talk to you a little bit about gold and silver. When I was a kid, I always wondered what Fort Knox must look like. And when I was a kid, I always envisioned that when you would walk into Fort Knox, you would see just gold everywhere, literally raining gold, kind of like what you see behind me right now. Unfortunately, as a grown-up, I don't have that kind of imagination anymore, and I don't even have that much trust that Fort Knox has the 5,000 tons of gold that we're supposed to have there. Meaning that decades ago, we went off the gold standard in this country, which took the value of our dollar down to just mere pennies. And since our federal government doesn't want to go back to a gold standard currency, then it's time to us to take matters into our own hands. Have you ever thought about buying gold and silver? Have you ever thought about taking portions of your IRA or your 401k or your nest egg or your savings and putting it into gold and silver, either all or a portion of it? Have you ever wanted to purchase silver like this in bullion or premium? I know I do. And I know I wanted to take matters back into my own hands, which is why I have worked with Golden Crest Metals to do that. GoldenCrestMetals.com/LFA is going to be your go-to, absolutely transparent and trusted partner. Now, you can go to that website or you can call 888-308-4202. And what the good thing about this is they're going to guide you. They're going to talk to you. They're going to guide you. They're going to give you all the answers to your questions. And there's going to be no hidden fees. It's completely transparent. No hidden fees, no pressure, no surprise markups whatsoever. Clients get to see everything before they purchase. They've even agreed to lower the minimum investment to the LFA audience in order to make sure that everybody has access to this. Free IRA storage, free insured shipping, and a full range of precious metals from gold, silver, palladium, and platinum. And if it's easier for you to just maybe click a QR code, well, guess what? We've got that available for you too. Right here, ladies and gentlemen. Click this QR code on your screen and it'll take you right there. GoldenCrestMetals.com/LFA. Again, GoldenCrestMetals.com/LFA, or call 888-308-4202 today to reach these guys. They're going to be a great partner for you, just as they have been for me, and we absolutely recommend here at LFA TV, GoldenCrestMetals.com/LFA.
All right, goldencrestmetals.com/LFA, goldencrestmetals.com/LFA. We appreciate Golden Crest Metals for being a part of the show. Now, Slam4861 says, Republicans have no clue what to do if Trump isn't on the ballot. Well, he isn't going to be on them anymore, so they better figure it out. I think people are getting Trump fatigued anyways. I don't disagree. Now, I'm not saying that Trump fatigue is one of the reasons why. I think, look, Here's an easy way to understand the issue with Trump on or off the ballot, because Slam is spot on with that analysis, right? Trump was an inspiring candidate. Yes, he was new, he was fresh, he had energy, he had charisma, he's funny, he was unconventional. Okay, where's my goat kiss? Oh, it's in my pocket. Very, very deep pocket.
Men's
Okay?
jeans do have nice deep pockets.
Yeah.
Nice.
Donald Trump was new. He was different. He was fresh. He was inspiring. He was unconventional. He was unorthodox. He was an outsider. Can you say the same thing about Jack Ciattarelli or Winsome Sears? The answer is no. The answer is no. Those people were not inspiring. You didn't watch somebody like, Ciattarelli. And I said this on PHT, 3 weeks ago. He does this, nice guy Jack. Stop being nice. They want you dead. Why are you going to play nice to somebody who belongs to a party that is like, oh, Jay Jones believes that, his political opponents should be killed and their kids should be murdered? Yeah, let's play nice with them. Are you freaking insane? Did Donald Trump play nice on the campaign trail? No. And even he's a little too nice to Democrats in power right now. But he's better than what these people are. Why are you playing? Why are Republican candidates like Winsome Sears, Jack Ciattarelli, and these are not the only two. I'm bringing them up because they were the ones who got smoked last night, were they not? What is the... Does anybody here... There's football fans in the chat. Even if you're not still a fan of football, you don't watch the NFL. Can I ask you a question, sports fans? There's an old cliche. The NFL, right? Football as a whole. Whether you're college football, professional football, high school football, junior high football, Madden, whatever you do, virtual, whatever. The prevent defense, when you're up by a lot, right? You play this thing called the prevent defense, meaning you give the offense a lot of room to operate, but you don't let them score on one big play. What is the cliche, folks who still watch sports and understand? What is the cliche, the often used cliche about the prevent defense in football? Does anybody remember what it is? I'll give you a chance to answer that. What is the cliche about the prevent defense in football? Prevent defense speaks as offense wins games, defense wins championships. Thank you, Bad Moon. The prevent defense prevents you from winning. You, the person employing the prevent defense, prevents you from winning. Jack, Sears, so many other Republicans love to play this game of, we're going to run this race not to lose. No, play to win. Running not to lose is a Bush era thing. It's a 2004 era thing. It's a 2006 era thing. You can't run a race like that anymore. It's 2025. Wake up. Play to win. I'm not saying you got to get out there and be sensational and erratic and wild and crazy and Howard Dean. Right? I'm not saying you do that. But for the love of your constituents, for the love of your country, act like you care. I don't want to hear about guys running in places like New Jersey with the nickname Nice Guy Jack. I don't want a nice guy. I want a mean guy. I want a guy who's going to look across at his opponent and say, I want to destroy them politically. These people, Bongino, say they got lead in their boxing gloves, and you're like, oh, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to fight against them the right way. The ref is in the bag for them too. You gotta go out there and play like you want to knock their heads off politically, rhetorically. I'm not calling for violence. Guys, enough of this old school, those highly paid consultants. We know. Remember the ones who ran the DeSantis campaign? My issue is less with Ron DeSantis and more with the people who ran that campaign. To be honest with you, DeSantis continues to deliver very good results for Florida. My issue, he was very wrong to run in 2024. I've said as much, okay? Remember the people that ran that campaign? Jeff Rowe and the Never Back Down PAC and all those consultants. Remember they looked down their nose and said, "We know better than you." from there, in the ivory tower. We have a better. They were completely and totally wrong. Those are the people that are still running the GOP right now. That's the ideology that is still at the upper echelon, the upper tier of the GOP right now. I don't want a nice guy. I don't want class. I'm not saying to be reckless and a degenerate. I'm saying treat these people like they are your enemies, not like they are your friends. Jack Ciattarelli kept trying to be friends with Mikey Sherrill like she was interested in being friends with him. No, this is not 2002. Winsome Earl Sears. There was a woman at a rally for Abigail Spanberger that said something. What was that? There was that racist sign that was like, if trans people can't come into the bathroom, then black people can't use the water fountain. And she was like, oh, that's like terrible. What? Go on the assault. Go on the offense. Play to win. Nice guy, Jack. Give me a freaking break. You know what? And the gaslighting about Ciattarelli drove me nuts. But look, he was the guy. He won the primary. If you wanted to flip Jersey red, you had to vote for him. I encouraged people to vote for him. He's the guy. How do you get a better guy? You don't sleepwalk through the primaries. Let's look at New Jersey's race. In 2024, the 2024 election, Kamala Harris won New Jersey 52% to 46.1%. It's a 6-point race. 6! Donald Trump got 1.9 million votes. Kamala Harris got 2.2 million votes. 6-point race. Last night, it was a 13-point race. Here it is. Mikey Sherrill, 1.7. Jack Ciattarelli, 1.3. Look at that. 13 points. Again, if all of Trump's voters, all 1.9 million, had come out in New Jersey and voted for Jack Ciattarelli, Jack Ciattarelli wins the race. Jack Ciattarelli wins the race. It was possible. We know they're there. Why didn't they come out? Did they just not know there was an election? That's hard in New Jersey to not know that there's a gubernatorial election. Or did they not care and not feel inspired to come out? And there's only so much that quote unquote influencers can do. Okay? There's only so much they can do. You also need a candidate worth voting for. And he wasn't the guy. But the problem is he became the guy because people didn't participate in the candidate selection process. It went from a 6-point race to a 13-point race in Jersey. It went from a 5-point race to a 15-point race in Virginia. It's bad. There's no two ways about it. I'm not saying that Republicans should have won these races because that was going to be very hard. Republicans running in those states were absolutely the underdogs. So it's not like Republicans losing was some sort of upset. It's not like a Democrat governor was elected in Tennessee. That would be an upset. The upset is we were expecting competition. There was an expectation that because of what happened in 2024, that these races were going to be competitive, and they were not competitive. We have an apathy problem, and we have a candidate problem. We have an apathy problem, and we have a candidate problem. But here's the silver lining in all of that. You want the silver lining? Here's the silver lining in all of that. We're in direct control of all of our problems. We can control whether or not we're apathetic by being more enthusiastic about participation and lessening the amount of apathy. And we can control who is selected as our candidates by participating in the process all the time. It's in our control. That's the best part. It's in our control. All right.
Real quick, we have less than 40 rumbles to see Clover.
Again,
hurry up, guys.
We can have 2 Clovers.
She's literally banging at the door.
She is banging at the door. She is.
She
All right.
wants to be seen.
Quick word from our friends over at Silent. It's slnt.com. slnt.com/Sean, Sierra Hotel Alpha Whiskey November. slnt.com/Sean. Ladies and gentlemen, you know your phone is a tracking device. Between government agencies, big tech, corporate data brokers, even cyber criminals, they're all fighting for a piece of your digital footprint. They're not asking. They just go on and take it. That's why Silent exists. They make Faraday gear that blocks all wireless signals. Cellular, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, GPS, RFID, and near-field communications. No signal. What does no signal mean? No signal means no tracking, no remote access, no breadcrumbs. It's the same technology trusted by special operations teams worldwide. Used to block signals, avoid surveillance, and secure communications wherever the mission leads. And right now, that's available to you to protect your family, protect your freedom, and secure your digital footprint. Drop your phone in a silent Faraday sleeve, and it is off the grid, completely silent and invisible to the outside world. From their backpacks to their crossbodies to their sleeves, Silent's patented technology gives you control of your privacy. Visit slnt.com/Sean, SHAWN, to save 15% and get free shipping on qualifying orders. That is Silent, slnt.com/Sierra Hotel Alpha Whiskey November. Protect your rights, secure your data, and stay one step ahead. Go silent today, slnt.com, and silence the chaos. slnt.com/Sierra Hotel Alpha Whiskey November. We're one away. Get her ready.
Oh, she's ready.
She's ready to go. Clover's coming in.
Right now?
Clover's coming in. We'll get her in. I saw somebody say, that was some real motivational speaker stuff. Look, Charles is back. Life isn't an election all the time. Have elections every 8 years, not every year. No, we do have elections every year. See, that's the problem. There you go. Here's Clover. Good girl. Clover's not happy about last night. She's not happy about last night.
I'm just going to let her stay in here now.
Yeah. Okay. We do have elections every year. That's the problem. That's the problem. We do have elections every year. Where is Dylan? I can't wait to talk to him on Friday. He better.
In the chat, he's upset.
He was in my spaces last night too. Yesterday, and weeks before, I kept saying, it's election day coming up. I wonder if there's something to vote for here. There's not. But we made sure. All it takes, guys, once a month. That means because there's 12 months, once a month, 12 times a year. Do the first of every month. Oh, it's November 1st. Oh, it's December 1st. Just go on Google and say, is there an election where I live? That's it. And you'll get, that's all you got to do. Is there an election where I live? It'll get your location, or you can enter your zip code, whatever, and you'll find out if there's an election. And if there is, participate in it. That's all. How hard is that? How hard is that? It's not hard. It's not hard. This is what I'm saying, why we're in direct control. Apathy, we could fix that. Now, why is there apathy? And I could go on about this for 10 hours. I could do a whole 4-hour radio show on this topic alone today. And trust me, I'd love to. I'd love to open the phone lines and just talk to people all day long. Today's one of those days I would love to get on the phone. That's the problem. I would love to get on the phone with people on the radio and just do that all day long. Why is there apathy? Why do people only come out and vote for Donald Trump and go home otherwise? Why? Why does that keep happening? Because the candidates aren't inspiring enough. If you had a guy on the Republican side of things, like Zoran Mamdani, not his politics, his energy, his charisma, right? His drive, his youth, his work ethic. I'm not saying Jack didn't work hard. He worked hard. I'm not saying Winsome didn't work hard. She worked hard. Look at those two. What are you inspired to do? How are they inspiring people? They're not. Mamdani in New York inspired a whole bunch of people. I'm not saying they voted the right way. I'm just telling you what he did. And that's a fact. You can't dispute that. It is a fact. Zohran Mamdani inspired a bunch of voters in New York to embrace his vision. Period. I'm not saying they were right. I'm not saying they're not dumb. I'm saying that's what he did. That's what he did. Why can't Republican candidates do the same thing? Because their candidates aren't inspiring. It is time to look long and hard in the mirror at how we run these races, the attitude that we take into these races. And that will lead you into, oh, that's why voters didn't turn out, because they didn't inspire voters to turn out. Look, were there worse candidates than Jack Shirley? Sure. Were there better ones? You bet your ass there were better ones. And you could have had a better candidate in the race and still lost. But if you had lost by 6, the story would be, whoa, New Jersey was still a 6-point state. New Jersey's now a swing state. We're not having those conversations right now, are we? No, because the Republicans lost by 15 points. Silver lining, now these states got to deal with what they just voted for. And if America was truly ready to reject socialism, then why didn't it last night? It's a real threat. It's a real threat. If America is ready to reject socialism and was ready to reject socialism, and if this is secretly a great thing, right, that, oh, look at these bad candidates that are winning for the left, they don't need to run a non-crazy candidate because their base likes that. We know what our base likes. We know what MAGA likes, and we keep running candidates that are not campaigning and standing for. They're out of touch with what we're looking for. Select better candidates and play to win. That's the moral of the damn story. All right. Jeremy Harrell is coming up next here. Rumble.com/LFA TV. You're not going to want to miss that today. Rumble.com/LFA TV. Check it out at LFATV.us. It's LFATV.us, LFATV.us. Click on that Visit the LFA TV store tab up on the top, and the Visit the Store tab over on the right. You'll see everything that there is to offer right here on the LFA TV website and the LFA TV store. We are off to join the great Michael Patrick Leahy on the Michael Patrick Leahy Show from 11 to 12 Central Time. You could follow on X and listen live at Michael P. Leahy, Michael P. Leahy, Michael P. Leahy. As far as we go, we're back tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern Time, and I'll be on with Misfit tonight at 9:30 Eastern Time, 9:30 p.m., of course, Eastern Time. Until then, we will never give up. We will never give in. We will never, ever surrender. And if all else fails, we'll just become ungovernable. Thank you. God bless you. God bless this one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Have a great rest of your Wednesday. We're back tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Until then, bang gavel. Good night, everybody, and thank you for your attention to this matter. Jeremy Harrell is up next.